It's Super Bowl week, so you know what that means? Well, first of all, it means last week there wasn't football to talk about because the NFL wanted to play flag football. Go figure. But it also means that we have one big game to talk about this week. One big game between the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers, which we talk about at length in this episode. We also address PJ's potential gambling problem, but whatever. He is free to do whatever he wants with his money. We did talk about some of the stuff that's going on with college football and how people just seem to complain just to complain. And if you notice, there's some SEC bias in with some of our college football coverage. Talk about Tennessee compared to some other schools. And if you like what we're doing, don't forget to like and subscribe to us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, or wherever else you might find your podcast. Welcome to the number one sports podcast in Sanford, Florida. This is Sandlot Sports. I am Adam Capison. I'm here with Dorian Cody.
R.I.P. to the Washington football Huskies. Damn, that's messed up. What happened to them?
And BJ Thomas.
They just got Alabama'd.
Yeah, that's all. So it is Super Bowl week, and we're going to get to the game. But before I do, I want to read a statement to you guys. I want you to tell me who said this. The NCAA generally does not comment on infraction cases because there was a rule against it. However, that did not stop them in the past from leaking information to the media, as they did this week about us. Their actions were made an ill-conceived investigation public and forced us to defend ourselves. It is clear the NCAA staff does not understand the real world.
Is that the AD for Alabama?
Nope.
AD for Tennessee?
Yes.
There we go. Somewhere down here said something stupid like that.
Now,
well, he's right.
Yeah.
Because every school is doing what they're all getting caught for.
Yeah.
And I think it's so funny that Tennessee's whole argument is that, well, everyone else is doing it. Okay, well, you got caught.
Pretty solid argument. You have to remember, because that's a solid argument because everybody's supposed to be treated as equal.
This is true.
It's not like your kid coming home to you and saying, well, everybody else is doing it. Well, you're my fucking kid. You're not them.
Right.
That's different.
Right.
This is a situation where everybody's supposed to be on a level playing field. So that, in this case, I believe is a valid argument by Tennessee.
And what it has led to, I'm sure you guys have seen, is that the Big Ten and the SEC have gotten together and going, you know what? Maybe we don't need the NCAA.
They don't. They are the NCAA.
Yeah, they run everything.
Yeah, they don't need you.
I mean,
at this point, it's fucking charity that they allow the NCAA to be involved in their championship games.
Technically, the NCAA is not involved in the championship game, for football at least. That the CFP is its own entity. So, I mean, name 3 relevant college football teams outside of the SEC or Big Ten.
Clemson.
1.
That's about it. Yeah. And there may be some people that listen that are butthurt, but they can be butthurt. It's fine.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is at this point.
And I'm going to throw I'm going to just start this shit right now. Possibly Syracuse. They're coming. They're coming.
You called it a few weeks ago that Syracuse was going to win the ACC this year.
They're coming. They're coming. The ACC is going to be depleted, and the Syracuse is just hoovering up transfers and portal players and new recruits. We'll see.
Yeah, I actually heard an argument from a coach that said that, well, we got to get a handle on NIL. We paid a kid an advance of $300,000 and he went and signed somewhere else. And I heard that. I'm like, wait a second. You gave him $300,000 and didn't get his name on the dotted line? That's a you problem.
Exactly. Hey, you better recruit better, man.
You better have better lawyers, better contracts.
I'm going to help that kid with his vocabulary, and we're going to learn a new word called litigation.
Okay, if he didn't sign anything, they just gave him the money. That's on them. If he signed something and left, that's different.
Depending on where you are, verbal agreements could cost you a problem.
But yeah, I for one am just unbelievably sick of hearing like, well, the NIL is destroying college football. No, it's not. It's just making it even. The transfer pool is just destroying college football. No, it's not.
What happened to Alabama needs to be fixed. They got punished. They got punished because Saban retired.
There need to be rules around it. Absolutely.
Yeah, because it's worse than NFL free agency.
Yeah.
It's much worse. There's no regulation. There's no guidelines. It's just a free for all, and it is messed up. This version of the NIL is ruining college football.
Yeah. Now, once they put some regulations around it and say, and put timings and dollar amounts on that, absolutely. But yeah, when there's absolutely no timing to it and it can happen anytime, that's an issue. But that's an easy fix.
I talked to a bunch of different college football fans from different walks of life, and nobody likes it. Nobody likes it. Even fans of teams that haven't been affected by it yet. It's crazy.
No one likes the fact that at any time your coach can leave and your entire team is decimated at any time.
So there needs to be, they need to at least regulate it.
Yeah, I do agree that if your coach leaves, you should be allowed to leave, but there also needs to be a window. The deal with the Big Ten and the SEC comes also just right before, I believe, Fox, ESPN, and CBS all signed a agreement together to stream certain conferences and games. The deals weren't released yet. It was just announced today. So yeah, we're getting to the point where it's going to be the big two and everyone else is left behind. Poor UCF. Go from conference to conference. Every time they go, they kill the conference.
Damn.
So, do you think, let's say, for instance, the SEC and the Big Ten say, "Hey, we are going to form our own thing, our own league." Do you think that would be a pipeline to go to the G League of the NFL, which is the XFL? I think it's XFL, right? Or no, the UFL. The UFL, and then to the NFL. You think that could be like that portal? Brings some.
Well, let me ask you this: if you're a top flight football talent, what are you gonna do? Are you going to go to Alabama and make $5 million a year in NIL money? They go to the UFL and make $500,000 a year, maybe.
Yeah.
Because the difference between the G League and college basketball is the G League gets paid and college basketball really doesn't. They still have NIL, but not as much as football.
I guess.
And that's why the G League is successful. But once colleges pay more than the UFL, who fucking cares?
So that means the UFL needs to up the ante for it to be successful.
Yeah, and then they can't afford it. It just there's not enough revenue into it for them to afford it.
Well, not yet. They need
Not
to
yet.
make sure they have to build towards that, and they can't and go the way of every other football league that's tried this.
Well,
They're in trouble.
And that's what happened with the USFL back in the 80s, is they were successful. And then one owner tried to compete with the NFL directly and shot themselves in the foot.
What was the name of that piece of shit?
Oh God, he's got a building in New York. What the fuck was his name? Oh, fuck, he's orange. God damn it, what's his name? Dump, that's his name, Dump.
Maybe when he gets off his daughter, we can look at his face.
So,
anyway,
like for instance, so basically it's the other way around. It's like, all right, it's college football, and then whoever doesn't get drafted, right, goes into the UFL, and then kind of like start that path.
Or whomever can't get into the Big Ten or SEC.
Well, here's the thing. This is not basketball. An 18-year-old should not be lining up against 26-year-olds. That's all there is to it. They were in football. They will die out there. There are probably a handful of 18-year-olds that come out of high school that can compete with a grown man. It's a different sport. You can throw an 18-year-old on the court with 27-year-old men. Not a problem in basketball. Yes. Not a problem. An 18-year-old cannot leave high school and go into the pros. Maybe Darnell Dockett, and that's it. If you look at pictures of him when he's in high school, that's not fair.
Him, I mean, you had Patrick Willis, freaking AD.
Still
AD
different,
Peterson.
Different, maybe, but what's it going to do to his career length?
Well, and here's the thing: if you do allow the Adrian Petersons, the Mike Williams, and Patrick Willis's of the world, if you allow those unicorns in, you got to allow everyone else.
Yeah, which means that there's going to be some wide receiver getting slaughtered every year.
and that was their issue back with letting high school players play in the NBA. For every Kobe, for every Dwight Howard you had a Jermaine O'Neal, you had I can't even think of the guys that
Yeah,
flamed out.
but the chance of death is less than 1%. If you send him to the NFL,
Yeah.
There's a non-zero chance.
could you imagine Ray Lewis getting to hit a high school kid?
No,
18 and a half years old, 19 years old?
let's back this up. So before the show, we were talking about just how immature kids are nowadays and how mouthy they are. You let a kid be mouthy to Ray Lewis.
You don't have to be mouthy. I'm talking about a regular old NFL middle season tackle from Ray Lewis on a 19-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Whoever voted for that rule change should be prosecuted.
No, that's America. We're not responsible for anything. Especially if you kill a certain kind of people.
And if we are responsible for it, we'll bomb the shit out of you until you forget about our responsibility.
So that's our college football segment for the week. We'll move on to more important things. So there's a game this weekend. Anybody know who's playing? Who's playing the football game this weekend?
The Niners versus the Taylor Swifts.
It seems that way on social media.
Don't be one of those. Don't be one of those guys. Please don't be one of those guys.
I mean,
Nobody was pissed when Jessica Simpson and Carrie Underwood came and watched Tony Romo. People just don't like Taylor Swift because she has beliefs.
Yeah, because she wants young people to vote. Heaven forbid.
I'm just saying, the other two were just kept their mouths shut and showed up. But Taylor has said things in the past. That's why a segment of the population doesn't like her. All she's doing is supporting her boyfriend. In the landscape of slurs that we have today, I think this is a good thing.
Damn sure good thing for ratings.
Oh yeah, you know that's going to be a highly rated Super Bowl, and you also know that there's going to be more bets on the Chiefs, just because some girls like, hey Dad, who do you think's going to win? Chiefs.
No, this is terrible for boyfriends across the country, though, because now they have people that don't watch football and don't know anything about football are now going to sit down at the Super Bowl and ask for shit to be explained to them. It's like, we could have done this week 10 years ago, but now that Taylor Swift's involved, you're going to ruin my Super Bowl.
Okay, I'm gonna break this down for you.
I would just keep chicken wings on my lap and just keep pushing them and pushing them in the face. Just eat a chicken wing.
You do not start studying for the test the day before. Well, maybe BJ does, but most people do not start studying for the test the day before.
Bet you I pass.
Yeah, you're gonna hear a lot of home runs.
But I think I feel even dirty even quoting this guy, but Colin Cowherd actually said it best. Is the game the Chiefs versus the Ravens? Taylor Swift was on camera for 33 seconds out of a 3-hour telecast. 33 seconds.
I'd rather see her than some fat dude with his shirt off with painting on his chest. I'm fine.
I'm good. It's y'all just mad. Y'all just mad to be mad. That's really all it is to it.
I'd like to take a fan poll of the people that are most pissed off, and I'm betting it's people whose teams are on the couch for the playoffs.
No, those are the people that say the NFL scripted.
No, I think it's both.
Okay, that's fair. The NFL scripted. No, your team just sucks.
I don't know. They should get over it or don't watch it.
But they will. They remember they were going to boycott the NFL years ago. Remember that? The same people.
Yeah, I heard people doing that, and then they'd come to work and ask me about the games on the weekend. I was like, wait a minute. How do you know there were games this weekend? How do you know who played?
Yeah, I thought you weren't following it.
Yeah, it's like Kid Rock drinking a Bud Light at a concert. It's like, you fucking panty waste. You're just a shill.
Yeah, in his defense, he is just cosplaying white trash, so that's okay.
Oh no, he is not cosplaying white trash. He's the epitome of white trash.
Did you see the house he grew up in?
He is a poster boy of white trash.
Have you
Oh,
seen
no,
that?
no. That's a personality style. It has nothing to do with where he was raised. There's white trash that comes out of Orlando. There's white trash that comes out of Yeehaw Junction. White trash is a personality style. It has nothing to do with what you can afford. Yeah,
Fair.
no, it's not location based. That's a common mistake made by people that don't know what white trash is. Open your eyes up. Listen to the conversations at your workplace. You'll realize who the white trash is.
So, but getting back to the actual game, what does San Francisco need to do to win? Besides, Tanya Harding, Patrick Mahomes.
Not get bullied like the Ravens did. Number one, they're going to have to stop Pacheco. Because we've seen that Kansas City cannot throw the ball over the field this year. So either they stop that backfield and affect the line of scrimmage, or they lose. That's it. I feel like the Chiefs defense has the potential to be more effective than the 49ers defense does.
Yeah, it's funny that I keep seeing, that Mahomes is over under for passing yards is like 250. I'm like, that's not Mahomes numbers, but
Did I bet that?
I mean, there's not going to be that many possessions. I'm sorry, it's 260, my bad. But they are not a team that you're right that goes up and down the field. They are grinded out, pounded out. They don't mind if their drives take 7, 8, 9 minutes.
I did not bet his numbers.
Well, it's early.
I bet Purdy on the over for 245 though.
You think Purdy's going over 245?
I don't think he's gonna have a choice.
Well, and again, I go back to there's only so many possessions in a game. So like in the San Francisco-Detroit game, each team had 10 possessions. San Francisco actually had 11. So in the game, I think in the Baltimore-Kansas City game, each team only had 8.
Yeah, but those are two defensive-minded teams. I don't think the 49er defense is solid, but I don't think they're as scary as they were last year.
Well, that's true.
And I think the Chiefs have improved, but I still wouldn't say they're a top 10 defense. They're a very physical defense, and sometimes I think that your physicality can overcome some of the stats that you've let over the course of a year. And the Chiefs defense didn't start out great and has consistently improved over the course of the year. So
You got hot at the right time. So
yeah, exactly. So I've really this game is tough to forecast. I believe it could go either way very easily. It could be a grinded out 17-10 situation, or it could be a 24 to 30-24 situation. I could see either outcome very easily.
Yeah, I would also say this. I would not be surprised if it's 21-17 at halftime. I also wouldn't be surprised if neither team punts and it's 17-13 at halftime.
Well, looking at my bet slip, I need that 30-24 thing to be more likely.
I mean, the over-under is 47.5.
Yeah, so they could do that. I'm cool with that. Put up 45 points or 48 points. Happy camper here.
So, but what I think is interesting, because I've been following the line, because I know we've been talking about Hard Rock for the past few weeks now. When the line came out, San Francisco was favored by 1, which is basically we have to pick somebody, go with San Francisco. That line has been bet up to San Francisco 2.5. That's all public money. That's all people like us going, oh, San Francisco looks better. So
I refuse to tie the outcome of the game into my bet slip. I was like, nope, not picking a winner on this one. Don't trust it.
So, Dorian, what are your thoughts? I know you've been silent over there.
No, I mean, for me, it just boils down to like what Coach Spags, how is he going to contain White Chocolate and Debo? Because they're going to get the ball, and when San Francisco, when they're dangerous when they're in motion. When you like, oh shit, you got you got Christian McCaffrey going one way in motion, and you got Debo is doing his motion on the other side. Like, who do we zero in? Like, yeah, you can zero in on one, but when Debo has the ball, he's one of the toughest guys to take down. And if I know Kyle Shanahan, he's gonna call a lot of screens and be like, "Hey, if you guys want to beat us, you guys are gonna have to tackle, because if you miss a tackle, we will get 20 yards each time."
I'm putting Snead on Ayuk and keeping Debo underneath. That's my whole thing. It's just that's what I'm doing. And here's the thing: if they were able to come up with a game plan to contain Josh Allen and then follow it up the next week and make Lamar Jackson look like he's not an MVP candidate, they're on a roll, man. I like that defense. I really like that defense. I don't know. I just think that the 49ers are in trouble. I really think the Chiefs got this. I just couldn't put it on the bet slip.
Yeah. So here's the thing. So as much talent as the 49ers have, because it's across the board on offense. You got Debo, you got Christian, Ayuk, Kittle, even Purdy. They are a slow starting team, especially here in the playoffs. They have been down in the second half of both playoff games. They've had to come back. And we're not talking great competition, good competition, still playoffs, but Green Bay Packers and the Detroit Lions this year are not world beaters. If they fall behind Kansas City and have that same mentality that every other team that's played Kansas City has had when, oh shit, we're down, Mahomes has this, they're going to lose. And Purdy has been known to throw interceptions in balls that should have been intercepted. You cannot give Patrick Mahomes extra possessions.
And Patrick Mahomes has been awfully mobile the past few weeks.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's another dimension of running when it's needed.
Yeah, against Buffalo, he had 9 rushes, and I'll pull up the Baltimore game here in a second. Then against Baltimore, he had 6 rushes.
Does it show you the yards per carry against Baltimore?
2.5.
Well,
Well, don't forget kneel downs count as rushes.
oh yeah, okay. I was about to say because I only had a few that were just huge.
He had an 11-yarder, and then against Buffalo, he had a 24-yarder.
Yeah, crucial.
Yep. And the thing is, he doesn't need to run for a lot of yards. He needs to run when he can. And if it's like 3rd and 3, he could easily pick up 4 yards. He's not going to scrape.
We talk about a lot on the podcast. If you keep that defense on the field, that's huge.
Yep.
Especially in a game with as much like it's emotionally taxing like the Super Bowl.
You know, if they have a 6-7 minute drive to get a touchdown, and then in the next drive 5-6 minutes get a field goal, they're up 10-0, and it's second quarter, Purdy might start to kind of wonder, do I need to press more? And that's where he gets into trouble. When Purdy is able to just play his thing, he's fine. But when he presses, he's screwed.
Should be an interesting game.
Yep.
I can also see in that instance when let's say for instance the Chiefs are up 10-0, Shanahan, telling him to be poised and just give it to your best players, man, and let them create. I mean, when you try to play hero ball, that's where the interceptions come in. That's where, those 3rd and 9 start to happen. Just give the ball to your best players.
Run the damn ball. Has Kyle Shanahan learned his lesson?
That's what it boils down to.
I mean, the team that I think we're just a running ball of cliches. The team that runs the ball and hangs on to the ball better will win the game. No fucking shit. I guarantee you that when they do the game, they're going to ask Tony Romo, Tony, what are the keys to victory? No turnovers, run the ball. Well, of course.
Yeah. But you'll be well as we saw these playoffs, teams that were running teams when they went up against the Chiefs, they changed their game plan. They like Andy Reid spooked them.
Well, it's funny. You said that last week that it seems like Patrick Mahomes has become Tom Brady or Tiger Woods. That when he gets up, people just kind of fold mentally.
Yeah.
And we agreed with it at the time. And subsequently, this week, as people have been breaking down this game, I've heard that same opinion like 4 or 5 different times.
Yes, you can see it. It's just a different vibe. Like even in the game when they played against Baltimore, like uh like the ball that he threw to Valdez Scantling. Though like he was making passes like they were Brady-esque, right? Because Brady always been known to where you can take someone from, off the stadium and he'll have them throw them like, 7 catches for 98 yards of the touchdown. So it I believe this year it forced Pat Mahomes to be able to actually like gear in and trust his receivers. Because hey, uh, Tariq Hill isn't coming through that door. Like this is who you have, and the trust that he have with Rice and with the other guys, you start to see it now, and that's what makes now he's dangerous to the point now you don't know who's going to get the ball because he has that trust in them to be able to make those catches. So
That throw that he made to Travis Kelce for a touchdown in the conference championship game was one of the best throws I've seen all season.
yeah,
It just
spot on.
there was no one that could have caught it but Kelce.
Yeah.
I don't think it was like not on the play, but I think in the league, Kelce was probably one of the few people that can catch that pass. And I will say the worst thing that could happen to the rest of the NFL was this year with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
Because Patrick Mahomes has learned how to win when you're not a front runner and you don't just have a bunch of speed. They have changed their game on the fly. BJ keeps saying it. It's bully ball. They've done it on the fly, and they're only going to get better.
Yeah, yeah. Even like for example, like if you compare what Brady did, it was that year when it was the year that they won a Super Bowl. I think it was against the Rams when Jared Goff was the Rams. That was the year that the Patriots wasn't supposed to win. Like they didn't have that. They were depleted defensively as far as injuries and things like that nature. Like they weren't supposed to win that Super Bowl, and they won. And I remember the commentator was like, "This was the year you were supposed to beat Brady. This was the year because next year he's going to tool off." When it comes to Lamar Jackson, when it comes to Josh Allen, this was the year the Bills and the Ravens were supposed to beat the Chiefs. This year, they will retool next year and get better. Have mercy on the AFC.
Honestly, I'm about done talking about Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and these other guys. Because until they do it, I have no faith that they will.
There's still problems. There's still problems that have to be defended. They can wreck your team's season if you aren't careful. Ask the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But until they do it against quality competition consistently in the playoffs, it's going to be Patrick Mahomes' league, and we're all just kind of living in it.
Yeah. Or to beat a man, you got to beat the man.
Yep.
You're not going to go out. You're not going to come out of the AFC without seeing Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, and Dorian, to your point, that year they beat the Rams in the Super Bowl. The second time they beat the Rams was 2018.
Yeah.
They started 1-2.
Yeah. 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 And I think that's the, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't I think Gronk was hurt. Was he hurt during that season, or something happened where he missed a lot of he missed some games, and they lost some games that year that they should have that the Patriots should have won. And I remember one of the commentators, I don't know if it was Boomer Esiason or whoever it was like, this was the year that you're supposed to beat Tom Brady. Like you guys, like you can't give him life. You gave him life. You won the Super Bowl, and they're just going to get better.
Yeah, ironically, the Patriots haven't won a Super Bowl since.
Yeah, that was the last one. Yeah. Crazy.
But, so we talked about San Francisco. What does Kansas City need to do besides just be Kansas City?
Keep up that bully ball.
Yeah, run the ball. And Pacheco is a diamond in the rough, man. They score big time with him. Big time.
Yeah, he runs tough.
Yeah.
And you got to remember, Jerick McKinnon's back too.
Yeah.
That's huge. He makes a lot of plays out of the backfield.
Yeah.
And going back to your point, Durant, it's the screen game. How do you control a dominant pass rush? You make them start thinking.
Or you run directly at it.
Yeah.
That too.
Yeah.
Both of which the Chiefs are capable of.
Yep.
Yeah. Absolutely. I believe also too on defense, the Chiefs secondary, they've been playing solid, especially the safeties. They've been coming up with like key plays, especially when it comes to the screens. San Francisco, this is again, I believe what Spag's going to do is he's going to mix up some coverages, right, to make Brock Purdy overthink, right? If you give him to overthink, because right now, I'm not saying that he's a game manager or anything like that. However, like you have Christian McCaffrey, you have Brandon Ayuk, and you also have Debo, like and Kittle, like you have some weapons, you have some stars. So if Spags can get him to think, if he once a defensive coordinator, I read that once a defensive coordinator, if he can get you on your second to third read, that's where you show him how good you are. That's what made Tom Brady dangerous. That's what made Patrick Mahomes dangerous, because their second, third reads, they know where to go to. If they can get Brock Purdy to be able to question his second and third reads, that by that time, Chris Jones should have a sack. Right?
So you're saying that an important part of being an NFL quarterback is to be able to read the defense effectively. And I know it's weird concepts.
Absolutely. Those second and third reads, man, that separate the man from the boys, second and third reads. And even though I can say this, like just going back to Baltimore for a minute, Lamar has improved, but when you're going up against a solidified defensive coordinator, like we even noticed in that game, like he was shitting bricks. He was like, okay, like I want to throw it to him, but shit, let me just figure out. You know, like he second guessed himself a lot, and that's what defensive coordinators do. Good.
You're saying Lamar's improved, but this year he did exactly what Dak does. So what you're saying is that he hasn't been as good as Dak until this year.
Yeah, I mean, basically, yeah. If you look at it,
yeah. Do you know what would happen if we said that on ESPN?
Oh, Stephen A. Smith would like blow a gasket, and Mad Dog would start yelling at the TV, and I'd mute it because it might get a headache.
Right. I've told someone. I said you got to give that same energy individuals was given to that. You have to give it to Lamar. You have to.
So here's my only concern is Kansas City in the playoffs. You know, they've, like I said, they've looked like they're locked in. They haven't played a quarterback with the amount of weapons that San Francisco has. Okay, they played Miami. I believe Waddle was playing, Hill was playing, but Tua can't get off his second read.
Yeah. Once
Waddle and Hill are covered, he's done.
Yeah.
Okay, they played Josh Allen. It's Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis, who like is in the doghouse, and we won't even talk to Josh Allen. Lamar Jackson named two of his wide receivers.
Only Zay Flowers,
Rashad Bateman, Odell Beckham Jr.
Yeah, Bateman caught one pass for 2 yards.
You can't play this game with people that play fantasy football. you have to know your audience.
But my point is still valid. Is the amount of weapons that San Francisco has, the amount of bodies that Kansas City needs to put against those weapons is different than what they've had in the past.
So basically, what you're saying is Coach Spags is going to have to earn his money
Yes.
in this game.
Yes.
Yeah, because I'm telling you, man, like uh, when I saw a stat, they were saying when Debo gets the ball, I think after the first tackle, he averages I think it was 6 yards, 6 or 7 yards after the first tackle, missed tackle, it's 6 or 7 yards.
Debo is just strong, so he is hard to bring down. That the difference is that Kansas City's linebackers and defensive backs are great tacklers.
Yeah,
So they're going to keep everything in front of them. They might allow completions, but it's going to be very short, and they're going to force Purdy to press because I keep going back to it. Be on the lookout for 8, 9, 10 play drives.
Mm-hmm.
Guy like Mahomes is okay with that because he's got the quality to put the ball where it needs to be on 3rd and 6. If it's 3rd and 7 for the 3rd straight time on a possession, I'm not sure I trust Brock Purdy to fit that ball into a window long enough, far enough down the field to get a first down without a run and catch being needed.
If anything, we will find out.
Yes.
Yeah. So I was going to ask, do you think that Kansas City on defense should keep up with the same concept as far as blitzing Purdy? Like as far as making them think twice about his reads, like send a safety or a nickel corner to kind of like to rush his throws to see if that'll rattle him up.
If it's well timed. Because the teams get in trouble if they just blitz when they get off the bus. We've seen it time and time again. If they disguise their blitz as well, yes. But if you're just blitzing to blitz to get pressure, you're going to get screwed. You're going to get burned. If you disguise your blitz as well, make them think that you're dropping back in coverage, and don't do it as often. So when you do it, it's a surprise. That's when quarterbacks get in trouble. Because it's just like, oh, wait a second, I didn't account for that guy. Oh shit, where's my hot read? By the time you're thinking, you know, the play is destroyed.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask a question, and the answer is going to dictate another question. Who's going to win MVP?
Well, you want me to tell you what my Hard Rock app says, or do you want me to tell you what I think in reality is going to happen? Because I put a little money on Travis Kelce because I like the odds.
Okay.
But it's most likely going to be either one of the quarterbacks.
Well, that was my point, because who you think is going to win MVP will determine who you think is going to win. So, BJ, for San Francisco to win, who has to be MVP?
Purdy.
Not Christian?
I mean, he could, but I think Purdy's going to mean more to their victory, because I don't think Christian's just going to get it through the run game. It's going to have to come out of Purdy's hands.
Dwayne, same question.
Are we starting off with
San Francisco? If you think San Francisco is going to win, who wins MVP?
All right, San Francisco is going to win. I believe that the MVP is going to be. That's going to be difficult. More likely, Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey.
If Christian has 100 yards rushing, 50 yards receiving, a rushing touchdown, a receiving touchdown, and they win.
That means he hit the over.
And they win 24-21. I think he wins MVP. If he has 75 yards rushing, 25 yards receiving, Purdy throws 3 touchdowns, and they win 28-24, yeah, it's Purdy. So
I'm not trying to be a dick, but those were two like super obvious statements.
Again, we live in a world with cliches.
Yeah, but we don't have to do that. We gotta do it because I'm over here swallowing my own vomit right now, trying to deal with this.
Well, that's just the Popeyes you had before the show.
I haven't had Popeyes in a while. I know better. Um, if Christian McCaffrey has 150 total yards in the Super Bowl, he'll be the MVP. No shit. If the 49ers win and Brock Purdy has 3 touchdowns, he'll be the MVP. No shit.
Okay.
There's a reason that we're not odds makers. I couldn't let that go because I know there has to be a certain segment of our listeners go, no shit, Sherlock.
We're about to beat him to the punch.
Everyone who listened to the 6-hour pregame on CBS on Sunday.
I shan't be doing that.
Dude, I can talk football for a while, but 6 hours is like I get a migraine.
I could talk for football for 6 hours, but not for one game.
No.
Yeah.
I could, if we were talking about the whole weekend. Oh yeah, we could talk football all day, no problem.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about 1 3-hour game, I'm running out of gas soon.
So who's a sleeper to win MVP? You and
BJ's pick.
Kelsey.
Kelsey.
If Kelsey has 200 yards and scores a touchdown, the Chiefs win. He'll be the MVP.
Yeah.
That's the equivalent of what just happened a couple minutes ago. I'm just throwing that out there. No, but I mean, I like the odds. I'd bet money on other things, so I didn't feel like putting more money in my account. I had like $5 left, so I just put $5 on Kelsey to win the MVP, and it was I'm looking at the odds right now. They're pretty good.
It was like 1,700 or something, like
1,400.
Okay.
So it'll be $75 if he wins.
Yep. But the thing with Kelsey, how I think he could win MVP but not have a massive game if he catches the game-winning touchdown under 2 minutes to go.
Tell you what, people are talking about betting. Do not bet on playoff football because it goes from what teams normally do to what they need to do, and that's much harder to predict. So I'm just letting you know, don't do that. Stop at the regular season.
That's our public service announcement.
And I would also say don't bet for the first 2 weeks of the regular season until you can see some patterns.
Oh, 100%.
Absolutely.
So there you go. Those are our tips for the year.
That's a public service announcement. You're welcome.
You're welcome. Teamwork over here.
So, BJ, if Kansas City wins, is it just Mahomes or Kelsey for MVP?
I mean, everything else would have to be borderline superhuman. Like you'd need a 3 interception from a defensive back. You need 3 or 4 sacks from a defensive lineman. I mean, it would just be a superhuman number. Whereas Kelsey, what? 100 yards and 2 touchdowns? 120, 30 yards and 1 touchdown? That's not out of the realm of possibility for him.
No.
Mahomes, 260 and 2 touchdowns? Probably going to win it. So everything else outside of those 2 would seem to be superhuman. I don't see him handing it to Pacheco. I just don't see it.
Like Mahomes would have to have a crap game, and Pacheco have 150 yards and a couple
And 2 touchdowns. Yeah, touchdowns, a meaningful touchdown, like a fourth quarter touchdown.
Yeah. So you don't think Pacheco can get it? Let's say if Pacheco rushed for 110 yards, and let's say he has a rushing touchdown and a receiving touchdown.
How many points were scored in the game for the Chiefs?
Yeah, because if we're talking like a 13-3, like Rams Patriots a couple years ago,
yeah, probably. But if there's like if the Chiefs put up 24-30, and there's 2 or 3 more touchdowns involved, and Kelsey has 2, or Mahomes threw the other 2 or 3,
Yeah, either one.
no, I just don't see it. I mean, you know how this is. It's marketing.
yeah.
I don't care what anybody says.
Which does lead to Kelsey getting it. He has a good game.
Put another bet down. Fuck it.
So I mean, honestly, I want the game to be close because I want to like be actually paying attention in the fourth quarter because we've had a couple of Super Bowls where it's like, oh, it's late. I'm tired. Fuck us.
I don't think it'll be a Tampa Bay Chiefs Super Bowl. How it was just lopsided from the beginning. I believe that both teams are going to that they first, I think that first quarter is where they're gonna you know, use their creativity as far as to try to see if they can throw each other defenses off, I believe. And that's
See,
going to determine like
See,
who's
typically that's the jab portion of the show.
yeah, I was about to say I'd see the opposite. I would not be surprised if after the first quarter it's 3-0 because the other teams they're just kind of trying to figure each other
Throwing
out and see what
jabs,
works. Yeah.
seeing what works, see how they react to
yeah
certain play calls, and then adjust to that.
Because Dorian, you said earlier about the motion, about how San Francisco likes to go with motion. I could see them doing that just to see how Kansas City is going to respond and see how the communication is. Because as
yeah
I've seen multiple times, teams that run motion, a lot of times the defense doesn't communicate like, okay, you got that guy because he's on your side,
yeah
and if you don't hand the guy off properly, he's open. But if the defense is communicating properly and if they're handing guys off appropriately, motion is just like it's just window dressing.
yeah yeah. I can see that.
So yeah, the over under right now, I just had it up,
I think he says 47 and a half.
47 and a half.
These
I mean,
numbers stick in my head now for some reason.
Yeah. So I mean, 24-20, not out of the realm of impossibilities.
Let's go 24-20. These parlays are stupid. They're so stupid. I don't know why anybody does them. I don't know why I do them. They're just so stupid. They're once you get past like 4 legs, you're asking for it.
You said it yourself the other day. Is the thing about gamblers is they start to think they're good at it. You hit a parlay, kind of right.
Oh no! I am under no illusion that I'm good at it. I've hit a few parlays. I'm under no illusion that I'm good at it. I just don't know why anybody does it. I think I do it because it just involves me in the game a little more. The highest bet I've ever had is $15. So like, I don't go crazy with it or
So
anything.
not the $1,000 bet on the Magic.
Oh, that guy. And he keeps posting his betting slips in that group. I'm like, yeah, let's talk about the losses, bud. It's easy to post that green slip. Post those red ones. But yeah, like I had a friend of mine that was putting like $50 on NBA parlays. I was like, you are going to lose consistently.
Yes.
And it wasn't even like player props. It was how the schedule was going to go that night. It was based on the game outcomes. I was like, no. I was feeling froggy and put what was it, $10 on the Magic the other night to beat the Timberwolves, and that hit. And I was like, how stupid was that? Everything I do as a joke works.
Yeah.
Anything I'm serious about definitely does not.
And again, I know we've been talking about betting here. Just what you're comfortable losing. Just assume you're just giving your money away. If you get something back, cool. If not, be okay with it.
I have put $100 on that app once, and I have not put any more money on it since.
Yep.
I've bet money that I won, and I've bet the money I intended to put on there, and my balance is 0 now with all the bets that I have out.
Yep.
So after the Super Bowl, I'll know something.
So I have a couple outstanding, and as of right now, I have exactly what I put in the account to start with, because I'm okay losing that. I've had it in there for a couple months now.
Yeah,
Yep.
months. I wasn't even worried about it. But I went stupid with playoff football. I will never parlay playoff football again. No, it's just I had an awakening. The Ravens Chiefs game. I was like, they're doing what they have to do. It has nothing to do with any pattern they've established throughout the year.
So now I will say this: that come next season, when you can start betting like week 3, because again, don't bet the first 2 weeks. I think you'll be fine.
Oh yeah, a regular season I should be good to go, but I will never bet playoff football again. Excuse me, hiccups. Never again. It's so unpredictable.
Yeah.
Like just as an example, let me open this back up here. I'll go to one of my lost parlays. Where is it? We'll look at the Lions 49ers, just one of them. All right, Jared Goff over 258.5. hit. Sam Laporta, 5.5 catches. Over. I picked the over. Hit. Purdy, under 280. That was a home run. I don't even know that was fucking allowed. That hit. But then Jahmyr Gibbs, rushing and receiving yards, 77.5. Who would have thought that wasn't going to happen? Did anybody? I sure as fuck did. And I was like, that's a good one. And then Christian McCaffrey, 5 receptions, over 4.5. Seemed logical to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like in a regular season game, I'd have hit that parlay.
Yeah.
I really do. But it is what it is, man. It's fun. It involves me in games that truthfully, I probably wouldn't have watched much of that Lions 49ers game had I not put some money on it. I watched a couple quarters or something.
But so I think we went back and forth. But Dorian, San Francisco's favored by 2. Who do you have? I don't have the stats up. We're just talking. Who do you have? San Francisco's favored by 2.
Look, man, like I said in the game when I picked between Baltimore and Kansas City, I find it hard to pick against Mahomes, man. I don't know if he had talks with Brady and Brady just smeared some of his magic on him, but I'm going with the Chiefs in the close.
Well, Brady and smear things. I think of him kissing his son on the lips. Ugh. So
I'm going with the Chiefs.
I'm gonna make it unanimous. Like, don't bet against Patrick Mahomes. Just don't.
He's super talented. He's super talented. He's he's got Kelsey and some okay receivers. It's just tough, man. He's a really talented guy. He throws the ball well. Weather's not an issue. That's another reason you don't bet playoff footballs, because of the weather. Weather's not an issue. I don't know. I see Patrick Mahomes dealing another victory for the Chiefs.
But we're gonna take a trip down memory lane real quick. So
who you picking? Shit.
I said it's unanimous. The Chiefs are.
I didn't see you say the word unanimous. English matters, doesn't it?
Well, you picked the Chiefs. Dorian picked the Chiefs. I picked the Chiefs. It makes it unanimous. So
you didn't say unanimous, motherfucker.
Yeah,
you just said unanimous.
I will go play the tape.
I hope you do.
So
I'll wait for that apology that won't be coming.
So Dorian, we'll take a trip down memory lane. What is your first Super Bowl memory?
Oh, I thought you asked me something else. Oh, my first Super Bowl memory. I was watching the Giants and Bills, and I thought that the Bills were going to win that game because I was a huge Jim Kelly fan because he was from the U, and I thought that the Bills was going to win. And then when I saw that Jeff Hostetler led the Giants to win, I was pissed. And that's my first Super Bowl that I remember watching. And also too, rest in peace to Whitney Houston, her singing that national anthem. That was beautiful to watch too. But yeah, that's my first Super Bowl memory.
Yeah, sing the national anthem like a week after we drop bombs on somebody. It's the American way.
The American way.
The most powerful time to sing it.
Yeah.
BJ, same question to you. First Super Bowl memory.
Oh shit, you already know. The 92 Super Bowl. Mud hole the Bills caught from the Cowboys.
I didn't say favorite, I said first.
That's one I remember. It's the first one I remember. I probably watched other ones, but when you win 3 out of 4, it kind of erases all the ones before that.
I'd say probably my first is watching John Taylor catch a game-winning touchdown against the Bengals. So
that was what, 88?
Yeah, I think it was in 89, so it was the 88 season.
That's right, 89. Yeah, it was 89. Because that next year's when it was the Giants and Bills.
Yeah. So different question. Favorite Super Bowl memory?
Mm.
And you can't say Whitney again because
No. No, I'm not see what it
I got 3 to pick from. Do y'all?
is. um, the most interesting was when Justin Timberlake grabbed Janet Jackson's tit.
Golly.
God,
Not even football. It's about titties. We knew it.
That was supposed to hit. Cause I'm like, oh shit, that really happened. But outside of football, I have to say when it was the most memorable. It's a lot of, but it's when the Saints went against the Colts, and that's when Drew Brees got his first Super Bowl because the Colts. I thought the Colts had that game won. I think that was the second. Was that the second Super Bowl that the Colts went to? I think.
well, it's the second Super Bowl that Manning went to.
Yeah, that Manning went to, and I thought Manning was going to win that one, but that was the main one that played out in my head. That was a good Super Bowl.
BJ, you got 3 to choose from, so.
Yeah, no. We aren't even gonna go that. That's low hanging fruit. But I will say probably the one that was like the most emotional for me would be when the Bucks got their first one.
Oh yeah,
That was they deserved it.
Yeah.
They had been through so much the prior years, like getting in the playoffs and losing to the Rams and getting close and trying to get over the hump and being the best defense in football, and they were just overcoming so much, not having a quarterback. Like, sorry, Sean King, but
He wasn't even on that team. Well, he didn't
the
start.
Tulane train.
no, but Sean King was trying to get him there and couldn't do it. And then Brad Johnson came in.
White man taking the black man job.
I mean, just think about it. Like, how bad was that offense for them to be like, yeah, Brad Johnson can fix it? Like, okay, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
I mean, Warwick Dunn, Mike Allstott, Derek Brooks, Warren Sapp, John Lynch, Rondé Barber. Like, it's just a fun group of players to watch. And that was like I felt emotionally invested in that. Like, this franchise has been terrible since I've been on Earth. Like, they deserve this. They really deserve this. And not to mention, that team was built from the ground up by draft picks, other than Brad Johnson. But for the most part, those guys were drafted by that front office and put into place to be successful.
Yeah.
And not to mention, John Lynch was out there knocking the living shit out of people.
Oh yeah.
Derek Brooks, Warren Sapp dealing with Brett Favre, getting in his face, causing a ruckus out there. Simeon Rice, Booger McFarland. Like, it was a fun team. It was a fun team to watch. And they played smash mouth football. I mean, anybody who doesn't know or didn't get to see it, go back and watch those John or Mike Allstott highlights. Holy shit. He would single-handedly fill out a defensive roster of injury reports every season this day and age. He's just out there smoking people.
Yeah. And he was fast too. Like,
He was deceptively fast. He was deceptively fast.
And honestly, I think that he's just as fast as he reminds me a lot of Derrick. Well, Derrick Henry reminds me a lot of Mike Allstott.
I have to say this. Derrick Henry does not run the way his body dictates he should run. Mike Allstott runs exactly the way he looks.
That's true.
Mike Allstott would hit you with the back of his helmet.
Exactly.
A lot of the stuff Allstott did is illegal now.
Yeah.
You can't. He would lower his head and put it right in your chest.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, Allstott didn't care. He would take the punishment. Derrick Henry is known for getting hit, but he's also known for stiff arms and not taking those big hits.
Right. And Henry also runs upright. There was nothing upright about Mike Allstott.
Yeah.
It was forward. Every body part was forward when he was running. And you got to remember, this is when defense could knock the living shit out of you.
Right.
And he was just smoking these dudes.
Imagine him playing today's NFL.
He'd kill all of them. He'd kill all of them. There'd be defensive.
He's a Russian leader.
They'd be putting defensive.
Russian.
They'd be putting defensive backs in the dumpster after every game.
Especially now with the smaller, leaner defensive
smoking them. 197-pound cornerbacks and 280-pound defensive linemen. Yeah, you're done. I mean, this This is a time when like D tackles are like 350.
Oh,
Yeah.
easily.
Who's that dude for huge dude for the Packers? Oh, what was his name? Like he was like 400 pounds.
Isn't
I
it
think he played for the
Samoan?
Browns too. No, he's African American. Played for the Browns too.
Was he on defense?
Yeah, he's defensive tackle.
Oh, you talk about is it
Just
BJ Rogers?
No, before that. This was back when Allstott was playing.
Ooh. Yeah, I got that.
Yeah, no, it's gonna take a minute. Let me. Oh man,
I think we're all rushing to look it up.
Gilbert Brown.
Oh, that dude was
Gilbert Brown.
freaking
I remember
huge.
That
Brown.
dude was massive.
I remember Gilbert Brown.
That dude's 6'2", 340.
I remember
Like-
Gilbert Brown.
A picture of him from 2005. He still doesn't have a neck.
Yeah, I remember him just taking. Did he play for the Browns also? Was I right about that?
No, he played for the
Just
Vikings and the Packers.
Vikings and Packers. Jeez. But I mean, it was just a different era of football, and Al Stott was one of the most physically imposing things of the time.
Yep.
I mean, this guy, when he was in college, one of his workouts was to strap a Jeep to his back and pull it up a hill.
They were built different back in the day.
Just built different, man. Like they knew you were gonna have to run the ball about 30 times a game between your running backs.
And the difference was one running back had 25 to 30 carries a game.
Yeah.
Well, not there. Not there.
Yeah,
So
they had work done.
They had Warwick Dunn too, so Mike Allstott would come in there and tenderize the meat, and then Warwick Dunn would come in and eat.
Yep. Yeah, that's like how it was. That's like how it was.
They were just a great team to watch. Like I said, I was emotionally invested in them because there's got to be something you could watch. I'll have to look it up and maybe I'll post it on Facebook or something. But the previous 2 years were so tough. They were such a good teams. They had a good record. They get in the playoffs and couldn't score points.
Yep. Because I think wasn't one of those seasons they got
That was the Bert Emanuel catch.
Okay. But
Didn't
one of
Ricky
those
Prohl get him in the end zone one year for the Rams?
Yeah, that was the same year.
Yeah.
Tough. It was heartbreaking losses. The defense would do their part. I think they held the greatest show on turf to 14 points.
Yeah, so
Was it 10 or 4?
99.
No, it was 6-9.
No, hold on. 1999, that was the Bert Emanuel game. The Ricky Paul had the touchdown. They lost to the Rams 11-6.
11-6. That's what it was.
Yeah. Yeah, that was solid too.
They were just, it was heartbreaking losses. Like it was just a great team to watch. They were fun.
Yeah,
And
well,
Derek Brooks at that time was probably one of the best linebackers ever.
yeah, and to your point, why they can't score. Here's their quarterbacks that were on the active roster in '99 when they lost because the officials blew the call against Bert Emanuel. The quarterbacks: Eric Zaire, Sean King, Trent Dilfer. Quarterbacks: Reed L. Anthony, Bert Emanuel, Jacquez Green, Carl Williams. That team made the NFC Championship game on pure defense. And what bothers me about BJ's pick for the Super Bowl, while I 100% agree, what bothers me is it's always overshadowed because of John Gruden. He came in, replaced Tony Dungy, won with Dungy's players, and gets the credit for it, and has not done shit since.
So they didn't make the playoffs in 98, but they made the playoffs in 97. They beat the Lions and lost to the Packers.
Yep, they lost to the Brett Favre Packers when they had like Dorsey Levens. And,
Pretty sure Gilbert Brown was on that team.
yeah, Gilbert was on that team. And Reggie White was on that team too, right? Because I think that was the
Yeah, Reggie White, Gabe Wilkins, Gilbert Brown were on that team.
Yeah.
98, 2000, 2001. Those are the 3 years where it's just like, damn.
Yep.
2002 Super Bowl. I think it's actually the 2003 Super Bowl.
Was the 2002 season in 2003. So
Yeah, but the Super Bowl is 2003.
Yep. And then the next year they didn't make the playoffs.
Ugh.
Because I think in that next season the after that is when they got. When did Keyshawn go to the Cowboys, BJ? Was it
Right around that time,
2003?
just after he left the Bucks, I'm pretty sure.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
he
in
left the
2004.
He left the Bucks after the 03 season and went to the Cowboys in 04.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And then collected a paycheck for a few years and dipped out.
Yep. Keyshawn does have a Super Bowl ring though.
Mhm.
So I think because of that Tampa team.
Yeah.
So,
What was yours, Adam? We fell in love with the Bucks and we didn't talk about your favorite Super Bowl.
it's all good. Yeah. So probably my most memorable moment was the helmet
No.
catch.
You said favorite Super Bowl.
No, I said most memorable moment. So if you know what, I will answer both. Fine. So most memorable moment was the helmet catch, and not for the catch itself, but watching Eli get out of the grasp. Because I was watching them with a group of friends, and this the part that gets forgotten about was watching him basically break 2 tackles somehow, throw the ball 40 yards downfield on a dart to David Tyree. Probably my favorite Super Bowl to watch, along the lines of BJ. I don't want to repeat because that is one of them. Was the Arizona-Pittsburgh Super Bowl?
That was a
That was
blast.
a good one too.
That was a blast. That was one of my favorite games to
too.
watch. Didn't James Harrison had that return for
Yep.
a touchdown that game, didn't he?
Yep.
Ran out of gas about 20 yards short of the end zone, still made it.
You watch Larry just trying to come by to a Don Beebe and almost made it.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, before we get too far away from Eli, an underrated moment in the Super Bowl was that throw to Manningham down the sideline.
That's a
Yeah.
That they say the term drop in a bucket, that was a literal drop in the bucket. Manningham was already leaning out of bounds while he's running down the field, and the Patriots corner, I'm not sure who it was.
well, there were 2 of them. He was double covered.
Had great coverage. I mean, there's nowhere else to throw that ball. It's either picked or tipped if it's inside, and it's uncatchable if it's any further outside. That was a perfect throw.
I think wasn't the corner, wasn't it Asante Samuel?
I'm not sure. It's very possible, but I didn't want to misquote. But that was a hell of a throw. I remember that like it was yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, probably one of the best throws I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, in a huge clutch moment. And that's the thing. A lot of people like to hate on Eli, but when they needed it, just like at Ole Miss, like he came through. Some people just have it, and he has it. Yeah, there's nowhere else to put that football.
No.
We're watching the clip right now. Patrick Chung, and I'm not sure who more is. Patrick Chung.
Oh,
is from
Patrick
Oregon,
Chung.
wasn't he?
Yeah.
Nowhere else to put that football. Ahead, he's not fast enough. Outside, it's incomplete, and anything else is tipped or picked.
Yep. And let's not forget where the play started. The play started at one like the 10.
He threw it from like the 7.
Yeah. Just absolutely insane.
Old Eli.
Yep. Feast or famine. If he won a playoff game, he won the Super Bowl, but then he didn't.
Yeah, but if it was close, you had to worry about it because
Yeah.
he has that clutch gear in him, and it was just all right. Here goes Eli.
And some guys are just like that. And the most tense of moments, they're like, "Hey, there's John Candy."
That's why they show that clip of Eli with that dumb look on his face. That's beneficial when the chips are down, when the pressure's on. Because he's just like, oh, here we go. Just level-headed, never too high or too low. Just kind of, You know, The Broncos Super Bowls were fun to watch. Also,
Yeah.
Well, the Green Bay one, yes. The one against Atlanta, not so much.
hey, I was having fun watching them dominate.
That was the year that Eugene Robinson went to Miami and I don't forgot
Liquored
what he
and
did.
strippered up.
Yeah,
Um, I thought it was cool. It was really cool when Elway got his first one, but then he got the second one. I was like, oh, good for you, John. Brett Favre Super Bowls sticks out in my head.
well, and that's why I never say this guy can't do it because they can't do it until they can. Remember, Peyton could never beat Brady until he could. He could never win the big game until he could. Elway could be great in the regular season, could never win the Super Bowl until he could.
Yep. Trying to think of some more like fun Super Bowls.
Well, the fun Super Bowl for me, BJ, you might not want to hear this, but when the Eagles beat the Patriots, man, nobody was expecting that at all. At all. I think the Patriots were like a 2 touchdown favorite in that Super Bowl.
Patriots were favored by 5.
By 5?
Yeah.
I thought it was 2.
No,
That was a good Super Bowl.
yeah.
Jeez. There's more.
Yeah. The New England Seattle one that went back and forth, and that Seattle was up by 10 in the fourth quarter. The Malcolm Butler game.
Yeah.
Man, I'd started a new job for the Super Bowl between the Falcons and Patriots. And you know how like you're trying to do good when you start a new job. My manager's like, hey, I couldn't get tonight off. Will you cover for me so I can watch the football game? And I was like, I don't care about either one of these teams. My girlfriend's working. Sure, no problem. You go ahead and watch the game. So I'm checking on my phone. I was like, yeah, I made the right call. The Patriots are getting their ass blown out. Man, I went home, grabbed some beer, got back to the house, crawled into bed with the girlfriend, turned on the TV. I'm like, motherfucker.
Yeah.
So he comes back. He's like, I'm sorry. He was like, next year you can watch every Cowboys playoff game. I said, no, every Cowboys game. I said, I'm not working any Sundays next year. He's like, fair enough. I was hot. The greatest comeback in Super Bowl history. And I'm at work. Never again.
Dude, I had my oldest son, I think he was like maybe like 3 or something. And I was putting him to sleep because I was bored. I'm like, Atlanta's running away with it. Then I felt him moving. I woke up and I'm like, the fuck? So I put him down to watch it because I thought it was over. I went to sleep during the Super Bowl. I literally went to sleep during the Super Bowl. It was in.
I know the feeling.
Yeah. Well, I remember when they were up when it was 28-6 and New England kicked the field goal. I'm like, they've given up. Like they're not trying, they're just going through the motions. I turned it off. And then, I had my phone up like, oh, it's 28-20. Oh, okay. And turned it back on, and then like 2 plays later after I turned it back on was the element catch. I'm like, oh, no, that was a good call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing, man. Like to pull off something like that the way that Brady did, it's like there's no words for it because it's like it's that it factor like with Brady and Jordan and even like Wayne Gretzky, like it's that it factor where like you have to tap into some shit that you have deep within you to be able to pull some off like that. Because most individuals would have been like, this shit is over, and they would have gave up. But they was like, no, we still get it. Because even I saw they showed the documentary of that, and I know Falcon fans got to be sick to their stomach the whole time. Like Brady's like, do you believe? Do you believe? Come on, come on, come on. And it's like he was like galvanizing the guys, and then it's crazy. It was exactly inspiring to watch.
Let me ask the question then. Okay, Super Bowl Sunday, not the Super Bowl, any Super Bowl Sunday. Team is down by 4. 2-minute warning has just gone. They're at their own 15. Who do you want to lead your team?
You already know. Well, I'm picking Brady. I'm picking Brady. If it's all right, if it's any quarterback outside
And
of
any quarterback,
in any era,
living, dead, any era.
oh, Tom Brady.
Shit, man, you laugh at me, but Eli Manning in those fourth quarters in the Super Bowl. I mean, what do you like? I don't know what to say, man. Like, it seems stupid, but if you're talking about that specific scenario, I mean, can we bring the tape up, please? We just did.
We just did actually.
Yeah. So, like, I mean. Yeah, I don't. Eli in the Super Bowl, down by 4 in the fourth. Yeah, everybody's laughing. I know, I get it. I completely understand it. It's laughable
because you got a point.
he's 2-0 in those situations.
Yeah, like he beat the one that's considered the GOAT.
Hey,
like, he beat him.
What do we keep saying? To be the man, you have to beat the man.
Beat
he
the
did
man,
it
right?
twice
In
in this scenario.
In this scenario.
Yeah. So Eli.
Yeah.
Sounds stupid. It is stupid. But also think about the receivers he was using at the time.
Yeah.
Mario Manningham,
Yeah.
David Tyree. These are like Tom Brady level receivers.
Yeah.
Laugh all you want, guys.
No,
Laugh all you want, listeners. Laugh at me. I know you guys aren't, but I know the listeners are like, what the fuck? I get it. But
I guarantee if I post this poll on social media, Eli will get like 2 votes. BJ will be one of them.
and I'll sign into another account and vote again. I mean, you got to look at the history of it, though. How many Super Bowls has Eli lost?
0.
Zero.
There you go. It's like the LeBron James and Michael Jordan argument.
Yeah.
Would you rather go to your girlfriend's house 6 times and get laid all 6 times? Or would you rather you go to your girlfriend's house 7 times and only get laid 3 times? Who's the GOAT? I put it in Dorian terms. He understands it now.
Jordan.
Baller. Every time I go, it's over.
Every time I go, it's over.
It's not even close. No game 7s.
Right, no game 7. Wow, that's crazy. Never played in game 7.
Nope.
Closer. He's closing. 6-0. Close all the booty calls.
Man.
That's what Eli did. If remembering this correct, he was down in both of those situations.
Yes.
Yeah.
And pulled it out in both those situations.
Yep.
Yeah.
Both of them was like, the Manningham was borderline miracle. That's just a good throw by a seasoned quarterback. We could say that. But that David Tyree stuff, Syracuse wide receiver plug, was crazy.
So the only counter to that I'm going to have just to be contrarian is Joe Montana.
Sure.
Go there either. You can't go wrong there either.
How many Super Bowl comebacks does Montana have?
At least one that I could think of.
Comebacks?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they were winning all their Super Bowls.
No, not the second one against Cincinnati. Not the John Taylor catch. Yeah, when they played Cincinnati, they were down 16-13, and Montana hit Taylor with 34 seconds left to go up 20-16.
So he's got one that we know of.
That we know of, that I can confirm.
But Eli's only 2 victories were from comebacks in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure we're clarifying these things.
So, well, again, hopefully it's a good game on Sunday. We'll be back next week to talk about it. Again, good luck on all your bets. May the odds ever be ever in your favor. So
could have used that last week, you asshole.
So with that, this has been Sandlot Sports.